has no chat. Now, he's looked a little bit shaky, some ups and downs. Regardless, this is where we find ourselves. BlossoM looked pretty good. Supernova have a lot to prove after their series yesterday. And our first game of the day is underway. 6 bans, 2 reworked heroes, and Dragonshire as our first battleground.
No BOE, no Braxis. I'm waiting for one of the BOE games with Raynor. I think Raynor will be another, well, still very popular choices in all maps, but also in BOE. Exterminator, I think, is one of the tools that Raynor can be really powerful, grabbing those immortals.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at what this ban phase looks like. Maiev the first, Raynor the second. Should be seeing a Genji come in here any second now, and I think this should look a little bit more stock standard than some of the drafts that we've been seeing previously.
Well, if BlossoM wants to grab it, surely they would. So they don't really have to ban Genji. They can point into Supernova, maybe point down on Heaven. Or Blaze was a super heavy pick for Supernova. Try to go for something else. They're picking down on the support first.
Yeah, and we return to a meta that's a little bit more popular. The ban Genji and focus down at least one support. This time it's a first pick URL, and that's kind of surprising with as strong a priority as Phoenix has been for really most teams, but specifically in our first series of the day. Quite a high priority put on Phoenix. It's now left open, first picked by Supernova.
And Supernova will just continue their picks. Used to be lots of Dehaka Malfurion first 2 picks, but Malf banned away, Irel taken away, so they do get the other 2. In terms of control, we do want to have some global here. In Dragonshire, Dehaka, Supernova, not too bad. But compared to when they had their Blaze, their teamfight was a little bit weaker when they had the Haka. A little bit off calls or slowly coming down, not like pinpoint at the same time synergy, but delayed that by 0.25.
You're being generous there, G-Club. But the idea is that usually a global is an advantage, right? But if you don't time it right, if you don't have that coordination, it can be a disadvantage. It does require that. So let's take a look at the second ban phase. Tracer taken out by Supernova, kind of a commonality with our first series. It's going to be the final ban by BlossoM. Can still put some pressure on the support pool if they want to take anything crazy out. But I don't know. What do you ban here? Murden?
I would say ban Modern because he's not doing anything.
What is happening on my screen?
Oh, drafting. Well, drafting is not my job.
Yeah, that's right. This isn't my job.
This isn't my job. I play the game, so you guys do the drafting, right? Like, I need to clean my glasses.
This is none of my concern. And in the end, it is going to be a Garrosh ban to close things out.
I don't know if Modern knows that he was on the camera.
Oh, he had other things to worry about, trust me.
Deckard already picked up, going for that late game sustain, but they still need another source. We saw lots of Planet Cracker from Phoenix, and having one more could just be Hanzo. BlossoM might as well just steal away that pick, which is super common.
Ancona pretty happy to be here. See what his team decides to put him on this time.
Ooh, it's Junkrat and Hanzo.
Yeah, this is a very high damage draft for BlossoM. Wow. Okay, might see a reaction to that for Supernova.
Which is possible because they have a Karazim as a support to grab the kill. With just Junkrat and Hanzo, it's a lot of poke damage, which could pressure. And you can force out the enemy by putting damage, but you can't really get the kill. It's a little bit harder. But they do have the dash-in Karazim in this case. And it will be Mary Day. And we do have Thrall to finish off for Supernova. They will have double solo. And happens a lot. We saw this from Tempest as well. Grabbing Irel and Thrall together when there's a big dive from the opponent. which is going to be certainly with an Ubarak from BlossoM. So they want to remove that or delay with the Earthquake, or more likely to have Sundering and make sure they split apart.
That's going to do it for our draft phase for game number 1. Yes, that's right. It's the beginning of our second series. It seems like we've already had a full day of HGC Korea with our first series going the distance. But we're back for another series. Supernova taking on BlossoM, who are still fighting for that spot to advance on to the Eastern Clash. So still everything up for grabs. After a big win by Miracle earlier, can BlossoM pull out a win for themselves?
They need to go up on top. Still BlossoM really low. They do have back-to-back matches. The first matchup tomorrow against Good Luck. And one more next Friday, so back-to-back-to-back. And having one every single day from now on. And they need to win all of it to catch up to Miracle, because they're still standing at 1-3. They did go against the stronger teams early on. I think it was also a really good practice for them to have with the new roster.
Well, Hong Kong was waiting. Wants to go in. But probably will Sparrow out. Nothing too crazy to start things off, but this is a little bit interesting. And maybe you can help me kind of understand this along with maybe some of our newer viewers. But, you know, usually I don't see double solo lanes wrapped. And what is this supposed to accomplish here?
Because there are double solo lanes. Top and the bottom.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, G-Clef. All right, we've all learned something here today.
Notice to make your rotation a little quicker, also to sustain.
Okay.
A little bit of a peel post 10 as well. And not just relying on Decker himself, Brawl does have the trait. So extra sustain there as well for Muradin. I think they're really focusing on getting the shield and the heals. Decker focusing on Phoenix only, so that Phoenix would just survive the entire team fight. And that's the kind. This is a type of team comp where the support has an easy time. Just focus on one, make sure Phoenix stays alive, and you pretty much have to sustain, because you don't really need to heal as much for Muradin and Thrall.
Shines control here by BlossoM for now. See if they can back up. Oh, Alex, poor Alex, barely caught out. Mary was smelling some blood in the water, but won't go in. As No Chat rotates down. BlossoM forced off. Haven uncaps the shrine, so I think at least for now, Kirisaku is the one in maybe a little bit of trouble. I mean, obviously he's Daka, so he's going to kill him right back up with his trait. Wiz taking charge.
But does have a global. And they were squatting. I think they're buying time, and Anubarak will get the Dragon Knight. And Junkrat dies all of a sudden. I think for the squad, he just sacrificed himself for the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, it takes one for the team, and I guess that's worth it. I mean, obviously 4v5 is a little bit rough, but Dragon Knight is pretty darn strong. Push on through. Now, I mean, they don't want to keep giving away kind of surprise kills. Kirisaku. Daka's pretty tanky. Nice burrow there, but nowhere to go.
Yeah, that was a lost one. He wasn't going to survive unless he had some Rush Dugger early on. And I think that's why Irel was actually holding into the hammer just in case. You do want to keep your CC sometimes against the Haka. We did see yesterday and even the days before. The Haka just using that global escaping tool as well. So the Haka does not did die, but is back in the top lane already. They lost the Dragon Knight, but got the kill. So in terms of macro, they're not really too behind. They only got some damage onto the wall. That's about it, Supernova. They're not too behind. I think what they have to focus in the global is right now maybe try to look for holes, go for that bottom camp, and then try to rotate along with the Haka.
Camp finished off by, I think, Karazim and Hanzo, and now looking to come right back down to the bottom. It's really been kind of surprising to me to see kind of our lower teams like even Gluck yesterday, Miracle, Supernova here, kind of really step it up when it comes to the macro game, making their rotations on time. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here, specifically from Kirisaku, seeing whether or not he can play that global on time with the rest of his team. Now there's Honkono burrowing all the way in. Haven wants a little bit of engage for himself, tossing him forward. Modern very, very low out in the back. Meriday there in the back with the save. Kirisaku pulling Honkono deep into enemy territory.
No kills caught, as they still lacked in the tiny bit of damage as Thrall. They were having 2-2 focusing on other heroes, as they were kind of split apart. They couldn't really get all the CCs together, but still they do force, Supernova does force out the members of BlossoM there, and though they did not get the control of the camp, they were trying to spot this.
Can't just go to BlossoM.
Heaven does not overextend. So there was a moment that he wanted to toss in, but he was going to be alone, so good decision making there.
Haven pushing Honkono back. This is obviously his bush. There will be no trespassers. He is the grandfather on the porch telling Honkono to get off of his lawn. There's a lot of lawn to go around. Just trying to keep control of these shrines. Luna Shrine will be defended by BlossoM for now, no matter how much Haven wants to run back in and take it.
It's pretty hard to sustain against the 3 that BlossoM has. When Kirisaku basically cannot win against Irel, and Wiz actually did not get to play Irel too many times, as they oftentimes banned it or lost it against the opponent team. And because of that, he was losing his lane so many times in the other matches, but now in his hands, he is pretty strong. I think his playstyle also fits the hero so much. Aggressive characteristic. He likes to dive in.
Haven kind of trying to 1v3 right here. I mean, he's got a tower behind him, but still going to take quite a bit of poke damage. That's really what BlossoM's entire comp is designed to do. Poke you off that objective, retake it, and now they will be maybe looking for a second Dragon Knight. Meriday will get it.
That was a weird rotation from Supernova. As Kirisaku, of course, could not really squat against and try to take that away from Irel. Because they got the bottom camp control and they just let them go get the Dragon Knight. They could have just...
Oh, poor Kirisaku is just going to have a bad day today. He'll be dyeing his hair black after this. I don't know. He is got a bad lane matchup. He's getting consistently punished. Now Dragon Knight in his lane, pushing all the way through. That fort. Ugh, just looking a little bit rough. Beautiful rotation immediately following that by BlossoM. Head down towards mid, looking to push that fort as
So what
well.
Supernova did to spend time to get the bottom camp control, bottom neutral camp, they didn't really get too much out of it. They weren't really pushing. They were late for it to stop the channeling on the Dragon Knight, so it's a loss for them, and they are always losing the top lane. Sometimes what you have to do, just cut down on your losses at the bottom, and make sure you go top to help the Haka sometimes. Here comes the Haka. Speaking of the Haka.
Yeah, indeed he does.
And gets hit by the arrow and just walks back. And that's a global loss, already a 4th down, so he's going to be having a tougher time. Trying to soak that extra experience, and when he does overextend, when he crosses that middle line, center line, if you draw a line through the half of the map in the center, once he crosses that line, the entire squad of BlossoM will come to the top and try to get the kill.
Draw a line, hamburger, not hot dog. Vertically, not horizontal.
Yes.
Glad that we could have that conversation. But the biggest thing for me is the global from Kirisaku. Is how is he using that? Usually, it hasn't been that impactful, and now he's going back to a lane to soak. Excuse me. Where he's already lost his fort. For maybe another engage there. Actually punting Haven forward. A couple of members of BlossoM caught in Stay a While and Listen. Not the most impactful Sundering. And just barely Wiz able to stay alive for a few more seconds. Can he actually escape here? I guess the answer is yeah. Look at that counter stun Beautiful Dragon Arrow there, and BlossoM should be able to escape unscathed.
Had all the tools, and Palm, of course, was ignored at the end, and was just healed himself back. Also a delay from Hanzo. I don't think it was totally needed. Still, just one spent for the time because they had a better trade of heroics anyhow. So no big casualty, but in the midst of time, Tehaka was able to get the camp and get some pushing power onto the top. But you need to really use your camp and push into the walls where they don't really do too much, as we have infinite ammo now, and that's why we have the big rotation. With the camp timing, they actually wait for the camp time for your heroes on the other lane to finish that wave, and then go with the camp a lot of the times, and we see that a lot in Spider Queen, Cursed, all the time. But Supernova is kind of wasting their camp a lot of time in this game one.
Yeah, a lot of time wasted, and especially when it comes to control of those shrines, they're just not, I guess, valuing that. It's hard for Kirisaku top lane as he was just kind of going 1v1 against Yrel, but actually now the fight happening without him, he will tunnel in, so he's going to be joining the fight. Bentha with a clutch warp away, but Meriday right on his case, keeping the pressure on the back line.
This one done, Salvo. It's the Palm activated Meriday to survive, but Wiz, it will go down. Only defender just came back. But that was a close one for Wiz, but not going to survive. That's only 2-2 kills, although we had a lot of fights. But because of the sustain that was provided by both teams, great response with Ducker Kane, making sure they trap the other side, but stay a while and listen.
Yeah, ult not even saving Wiz there at the back. That was kind of surprising for me. And now focus changes to the top half of the map. Now, maybe even a Dragon Knight for Supernova, not out of the realm of possibility. Gondor not with the stoppage in time, and he might actually just go down here. Haben going in, and yeah, Gondor not cyberly agile enough to escape there. A big win for Supernova, who might be able to push through this fort with their Dragon Knight.
Maybe all of his skills were cooldown, and even if it was, I think he was close to having an auto attack range there. Having a miss there by the body block. Great job done by Haben there. Still, now we do have semi-global from Junkrat post 13. And Tehaka so far, Kirisaku, even though he lost so much at the top lane, he didn't really die too many times, only once. And now the global will be in full effect because they got the Dragon Knight, they got the macro back, they're destroying the walls, and now they have to, with the fort down in the mid lane, BlossoM does have to make a safer rotation on top and bottom.
Right, Wiz was actually trying to come around for a flank there, and immediately the call came out from Supernova to say, hey, look, this is very possible, watch out. They do peel back successfully, so no counter engage possible by BlossoM, and they do take that, kind of take that one right on the nose. Supernova, they'd win off that Dragon Knight, but it's going to expire here soon. There it goes.
Camp control. Supernova does smell
what the Rock is cooking, and challenging now for the bottom camp. Knight but might be lights out for No Chat as he is very front and center. Haben and Kirisaku, though, getting right in the thick of things. Modern, back to the back, but he's pretty okay. A little bit vulnerable at this time, but he throws down the
defender and continues. Palm ignored, perfect damage to get the kill. Wiz does not have defenders anymore, so he will also get caught trying to do extra damage. As Onkona rotates all the way back, so wasted a lot of time, but at the end, DPS line a little bit stronger, gone down the choke point. Scatter Arrow will do crazy amount of damage, as we do see the bugs just going across each other in the ground. That's kind of weird.
Just tunneling, yeah, by the way. So both of them actually do survive, both bugs, tunnels, well dug there. They survived, but a crazy fight in the end. I think Riptire was the word I was looking for there. I just couldn't remember the name of the ult. Thanks to Save G Clef. Either way, a big fight on both sides. BlossoM come out a little bit ahead.
Against the Hanzo, you never want to fight there. Never, ever. In those small choke points, always look for open lanes, and that's the best, probably the best place for you to fight against Scatter, against the Pierce. You saw the damage that could happen with one skill shot. We always mention this. I think Supernova has chosen the wrong place to go. They could just lose the neutral, try to take away the siege camps instead and maybe go for your own knights at the top. That wasn't really bad of a choice, but when they control the global, and they do have to push top a little bit more.
Well, now they are going for their own knight. Huge dragon arrow comes in from Gondar off to the side, and now coming around for a flank. This is just going to be so devastating. Big ricochet, but Gondar actually...
Another fight in the choke point, but Phantom actually pressuring in really well, so Hanzo basically out of the team fight, has to poke a little bit, so... And they already lost the camp. So look at that scatter, just having maximum damage, but Yrel goes down first.
Yeah, Yrel, this is the most mortal I have ever seen any Yrel. Ult just not saving her.
Meriday, I think, couldn't really find the best timing for that palm to be active there, but camp stolen, and in the meanwhile, the bottom wall was getting damaged. And Kirisaku against two.
I don't know about that one. I mean, he's been having a rough day, so Bentham there for the save. Contest on the shrine. I mean, the map really tells the story right now. It's just all blue. They've taken every single camp. BlossoM just on top of everything. Now, Modern Meriday may not look on top of things right now, but they have, for the most part, been in the lead. This is Supernova getting a big chance to come back.
8-18, and they do keep all the keeps. Supernova, they're not really down in the experience as well. Even though their choice to actually fight, because it was on once, it was a neutral. Okay, you may want to fight for that on your side. If the enemy takes it, you do feel kind of bad, even though you do not have the perfect positioning against all the heroes. That was some great pressure from Bantam, actually going 1v1. Gondar making sure Hanzo is out of the teamfight because that was a choke point against themselves.
Okay, that's a little bit of a weird interaction, but charge into the tunnel. Oh no, they could save place. Half health on the Dragonitis. Supernova are pushing into a keep wall. This is a little bit ambitious, and I'm worried if they might overextend here just a little bit. Coming around the side is Wiz. He's looking for the counter engage. Dragonite is expired. No chat's gonna pop out.
Kirisaku was there just in case, and they were ready for the counter engage as well. The reason why they picked up Decker is exactly that, to have the counter against the dive that BlossoM is going to do, and that was also the reason why they could just focus on Wiz so many times. The others are sleeping, just listening to Decker talking forever. Ooh, here comes Gondar. That is not the place you want to hearth in.
Yeah, Haven gets right on top of Gondar, pushes him out immediately. That's an explosion, and immediately 2 dead. Supernova find a crazy engage.
Bro, mad. I crush. 2 kills. Going for the keep now, as Gondar does survive, but Honkono dove in to have that airborne, all the CC, to keep Gondar alive, but they sacrificed 2.
Now, overextending here would be very, very dangerous. Some good bounces off of bombs from Modern, and maybe Supernova gets a little bit aggressive, but I mean, they're going to go through this keep and to the core.
They have 20. They have Decker Kane,
5 on 3.
And Avatar.
Where's your Korean Crowan right now to turn this 3v5 around? I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Here we go, core down to half health.
Gondar is there. They do have
kill.
Hanzo, but the core is going down 30%, and they're all sleeping. Can't do a thing. They wake up with the core destroyed, and BlossoM will lose the